Let's stop pretending Instagram memes and TikTok reels are a substitute for education. Scrolling through random fitness hacks isn't going to make you a better athlete, or it's just going to make you confused, frustrated, and still weak as hell. You want to get strong, fast, durable. Read the work of people who spent decades coaching athletes, breaking down science, and delivering results in the real world. Today, I'm going to give you 10 training books every athlete should read. Not 10 books you could read if you were bored, not 10 motivational self-help books that sound nice but do nothing. These are the real deal manuals. If you read them and actually apply what they say, you'll be 10 years ahead of 95% of athletes and coaches stuck in social media echo chambers. Let's break down each one. First book is Starting Strength by Mark Rippetoe. We're starting here because everyone's grandma, dog, and dentist has done Starting Strength. And you know what? There is a reason. This book is foundational barbell training. It doesn't matter if you're an Olympic lifter, football player, ultra runner, or grandma trying to snap her hip on the way to the mailbox. Barbell strength is a gateway drug to athletic performance. Rippetoe breaks down the squat, bench, press, deadlift, and power clean in a painful, obsessive detail. Some people think he's a cranky old bastard, because he is, but he's also right about a lot of things. This book will help you teach two things: how to hold the lift with mechanics that actually make sense, and why progressive overload is not optional. If you don't understand those two concepts, you're not really training, you're flailing around with weights like a toddler in a bouncy house. Book number 2, Science and Practice of Strength Training by Vladimir Sikorski and William Kramer. Now we're going to be leveling up here. This isn't bedtime reading unless you enjoy falling asleep with charts or about force velocity curves smacking you in the face, which some people do, I do. But if you can handle it, this book is a goldmine. Zatsiorsky was one of the great Soviet sports scientists, and Kramer is one of the top American strength researchers. Together, they bridge the gap between physiology and practice. You'll learn how strength actually develops in the nervous system and muscles, why max strength, power, and endurance strength are different beasts, why blindly copying a program without context is also a waste of time. If starting strength is a Lego starter kit, this book is a full-blown engineering manual. The next book is called The System. This is by Johnny Parker, Al Miller, and Rob Pinarillo. This one is criminally underrated. The System was written by NFL strength coaches who got tired of random nonsense and built a structured, repeatable approach to programming. It's practical, it's athlete tested, and it gives you something most books don't: a system of progression. They talk about managing fatigue, periodizing training, and actually tracking what the hell's happening instead of just feeling it out. Every coach who pretends to be data-driven but still programs by vibes should be forced to read this book while doing burpees until they puke. Book number 4 is called Super Training by Mel Siff and Yuri. In fact, I'm going to put his name down below because I'm not going to be able to pronounce it without due diligence. Look, warning on this one though. This book is dense. I mean, physics textbook dense. But if you're serious about coaching or being an elite athlete, it's non-negotiable. Super Training is like unlocking the cheat codes to human performance. They invented what's called shock training, what we now call plyometrics. Siff was a genius in biomechanics, and together these two authors wrote what is basically the Bible of sports science. You'll get everything from force dynamics to energy systems to recovery methods. You'll also get a brain cramp if you try to read it all at once. But coaches who don't read Super Training and end up reinventing the wheel badly. Coaches who do read it though, they'll move the field forward. Book number 5 is Practical Programming for Strength Training by Mark Rippetoe and Andy Baker. Remember how Starting Strength taught you how to lift? This one teaches you how to keep progressing when newbie gains wear off. Because let's be real, any idiot can get stronger in the first 6 months. Your grandma can double her squat just by showing up and not dying. The real question is then, what happens after that? This book dives into the intermediate and advanced programming. Linear progression stops working at a certain point, so you need to learn periodization, volume manipulation, and recovery balance. If you ever whined, I hit a plateau, it's because you didn't read this book. Go read it. Book number 6 is called High Performance Training for Sports by David Joyce and Dan Lewinen. This book is like the Avengers assembling the world's best coaches. You've got contributions from people who train Olympians, Premier League athletes, elite rugby players. It covers speed, strength, conditioning, psychology, nutrition, and injury prevention in a way that's both practical and scientifically sound. Unlike most books which focus on one tiny sliver, this one zooms out and says, sport is complex. Maybe we should train like that's the case. If you're an athlete who wants performance without breaking down every 6 months, this is your playbook. Book number 7, Essentials of Strength Training and Conditioning, by the NSCA, or Human Kinetics. This was basically the standard textbook for strength coaches. It's dry, it's not funny, it's not inspirational. But if you want to pass the CSCS exam, or at least not sound like a total idiot when discussing physiology, this book should be required reading. It lays out your biomechanics, bioenergetics, periodization, program design, and testing protocols. Think of it more of an encyclopedia. You don't read it cover to cover for fun, you use it as a, oh crap, I need to go check something reference manual. Book number 8 is Easy Strength by Dan John and Pavel Tsatsouline. Now we swing back to the practical side. Dan John is a philosopher coach every athlete wishes they had. Pavel is the guy who made kettlebells cool again. Together they wrote a book that simplifies training down to something you can actually do without spreadsheets and calculus. Their premise behind this? Most people overcomplicate training. Instead, they find that lifts that matter, practice them often, and build strength without trashing your body. It's refreshingly simple, almost too simple, which is exactly why it works. Book number 9 is Special Strength Training Manual for Coaches by Yuri Verkhov. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This one's for athletes who want to go full savage. It's all about developing explosive, sport-specific power. They dig into how to use special strength exercises that directly transfer to sports movements. Think resisted sprints, depth jumps, loaded throws, highly targeted programming. It's not a beginner book, but if you're chasing world-class performance, this will give you the roadmap. Also, if you ever hear someone Instagram guru saying they invented contrast training or triphasic loading, just laugh. They probably stole it from the Verchansky without knowing it. And our last book on this list, Periodization, Theory and Methodology of Training by Tudor Bompa and Carlo Busti. Last but not least, the godfather of periodization. Bompa basically created modern training cycles. If you've ever done hypertrophy block, strength block, peaking block, you're using his work. This book breaks down the structured training over weeks, months, and years to maximize progress while minimizing burnout. If you only train hard but never train smart, you'll be strong for about 6 months until you blow out a knee. If you train smart though, you keep stacking gains for decades. This book is the manual for training smart. So those are the 10 training books every athlete I think should read. Notice what's not on this list: motivational fluff, pseudoscience, the 10 minutes a day to abs garbage. These books were written by people who coach Olympians, NFL players, world champions, and everyday athletes who needed to perform. If you want to stop being another casualty of random Instagram programs, you need to invest in actual education. Strong athletes train, smart athletes last. Go read the damn books, apply them, stop outsourcing your brain to strangers on TikTok, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stop plateauing, stop getting hurt, and finally start becoming the athlete you were supposed to be.